Hello and welcome to the hot mess.
Delicious and nutritious. We're definitely not nutritious.
We're gonna do.
Okay, you can stop.
Podcast.
No.
Talking in our ASMR voice.
Beth got a new mic, and so Beth is over abusing it. She's like, "I'm an ASMR queen now." It doesn't even sound like ASMR. It just sounds like you're close to your mic. It doesn't even sound like ASMR. It just sounds like you're like this close to your mic.
What if I do?
No, it just sounds like you're.
What about?
No. It does not sound like ASMR.
Oh man,
that's what gets me right. You were doing that earlier. For those that don't know, we were in a call earlier, and she was like, ASMR. I was like, it just sounds like you're whispering. It doesn't sound
That's the point. I want everybody to realize that this is the new me.
And I'm here for it. We love it. Hi guys, welcome to the hot mess mania moment of ASMR.
Yeah. This is for the rest of the show. We're just going to talk a little bit about the Nanny, and it's season 2, episode 17.
I'm going to vomit. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hot Mess Moments.
So hot. Such a mess. Such a moment.
Such a moment. My name is Dylan Zaner, also known as 8-Bit Dylan. Lost is my favorite show. And I've never seen The Nanny before.
And this is my first time podcasting. And I'm Beth Dixon, also known as Augusta Window11 online. And The Nanny is my all-time favorite show, but I'd never seen Lost before. So we decided to team up as a duo and watch each other's favorite shows. So today is a Nanny episode. We were talking about Season 2, Episode 17, The Will, and I'm excited to get into it. But first, Dylan.
Yeah.
How you been? How's your weekend? How's your first week of 2022?
First week was all right. I thought I would be I thought I'd be much busier with work, but a lot of my work that I needed to get done early on, I forgot had gotten pushed back a few months. And so I came into a whisper.
Like this whisper.
Oh my God. That's exactly what the whisper was. It was that exact sound
whisper.
clip.
Yeah.
Of you just getting close to your mic and your voice sounding muffled and it not actually sounding like ASMR at all. I was just like, what is it saying? And then that was my 2022
That's what 2022 had to say to you.
I was pleasantly surprised when I didn't have as much to do, which was nice. I still had stuff to do, but I had prepped myself all holiday long, expecting like when I get there on Monday, it's going to be chaos. It's going to be like I might have to work a 12-hour day. And I opened up my email and there was like 50
whispers.
I was just like, oh, I was expecting like 200, 300 emails. There was 50 in there. So no one was emailing. Oh, yeah, nothing was happening over the holidays. And most of them were just like, the terms of service has changed for this like third party external thing that we use for work.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay. Well,
November or December is important for a lot of them because they have to renew contracts or they have to keep up with what the law is going to be for 2022 and that kind of thing. So
it was super simple. How about yourself?
It's been pretty good. I have been able to get out of the apartment a little bit. And so I went for a really nice walk today. It was a little chilly. It was about 25 degrees outside. And I went to the Brooklyn Heights Promenade, which just has the best view of Lower Manhattan. And then I was going to meet up with our friend Chase at a cat cafe. But then we got there and realized we need reservations for the cat cafe. So we are going to come back next week It's $10 a person for 30 minutes in there. And you go in and you just like hang out with all the cats and like you can order like a coffee or whatever when you're there. And I was like, because Chase is thinking about adopting a kitty. So I was like, what if we went to the cat cafe?
That's cute.
Isn't that cute?
That's so cute.
So
I love the idea of just like cats being everywhere and you can just like chill and relax and just like hang out with kitties.
And they're so chill. So so this cat cafe is completely volunteer run. So they work with like a lot of different like shelters and such in the area. And so they have the cats, all the cats that are there are obviously very well socialized. So it just turns into like, hey, if anybody here, every single cat here is available for adoption or foster. And I've been thinking like maybe after I've been here for like a solid year and I understand like how I'm doing and feeling and such, I've been thinking about maybe I foster like a cat or two or something, or maybe even a little dog or something like that.
Like 1, 2, maybe 7, you know.
All of the dogs and cats. I'm going to foster all of them. But I've had a really bad track record with like adopting cats.
I do remember that.
I just feel like I'm not ready for the commitment of adopting because I have that mental block. But fostering, what's nice is I could always say like, I've been doing what I can to help this animal find the right match, or we can give them more information to like, you know, the for the potential family that's going to adopt them. I just, I don't know. That might be what's in the cards.
For those that don't know, Beth previously adopted a zombie cat, and she was not prepared to have to feed it flesh.
Yeah, this is a lot to bring up.
Yeah,
it was really terrifying. It was like, a really traumatic time in my life.
Yeah, think of like Little Shop of Horrors, but it's a cat, and she feeds
instead of a piranha plant.
Yeah, and you feed it slices from your thigh. You're like, has to feed it like human flesh.
I wish that's what I did. Bitch, I'd be so fucking skinny. I'd be sitting here like, oh yeah, just take a little bit more Garfield. It's worth it.
That cat was a piece of shit. It was a zombie cat. It was evil.
Yeah. That was a really rough time in my life.
But because that bit's dead, no pun intended. I want to talk about really quick. We recently got back into doing the podcast, which has been super nice. Like rewatching these shows and getting into everything. I completely forgot that. Oh my God. The point I was trying to make, I'm like kind of forgetting my point. So, okay.
You completely forgot your point.
the point. Okay. So listen. So I got on this mindset because of PAX East. I was like thinking of PAX East and how a lot of people are considering going to PAX East, which made me think of Comic-Con. And then I was like, oh my God, I remember at Comic-Con for Lost, back when the show was, and I probably should talk about this in the Lost podcast, but whatever. Back when Lost was on the air, there was a huge amount of people who would cosplay as people from Lost.
Okay.
Specifically, they would dress up as Dharma Initiative.
Oh,
like people, like the scientist guy who would give like the orientation video.
Oh yeah. Okay.
A meme back then, like in the because it'd be like weird. Like you would just show up as someone dressed like a jumpsuit. You basically show up in a jumpsuit. And so I don't know. I forgot the point I was trying to make there, but I got on that mindset and I was just like, oh my God, we got back into doing these podcasts. And I think I'd recently heard about PAX East, and forget me, I'm on a rambly.
I like it. Well, listen, this is a rambly kind of day. Yeah. I feel that energy too. It's a Saturday. We're here for it.
Yes. But another point I want to make on that same front is I wish that Comic-Cons were as popular back in the 90s when the Nanny was on, because you absolutely know there would be a gay fucking nerd dressed up as Fran Fine.
Call me out.
Walking around.
Call me out.
Yeah. I want to see it. Do it.
There wasn't a convention. I just kind of came down and walked around New York.
Dressed as a Jersey woman. Or Queens.
Did you say Jersey?
I said Jersey. I meant Queens. That's blasphemy to a New Yorker.
Fran Drescher, I'm so sorry. I don't vouch for him.
That hot mess believes that you're from Jersey, Fran.
Oh, Fran, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Fran. This has never happened before. I've never had to deal with this with a podcast host. Do I walk now or do I do the podcast and then renegotiate? Like, what do we do? I'm from Jersey. Like, there's some things you just don't even joke about. And the fact, oh, God.
Damn, Jersey that bad, huh?
Wait, not at all.
Fran actually be from Jersey, though? Like, how that would play out? Just like the nanny, but with SNOOKIE? Or JWoww from like Jersey
I think
Shore.
the best one would be Sammy. Just do like a really whiny, like, it's like, are we on or are we off, Mr. Sheffield?
Ronnie.
Tell me.
Ronnie, I need to know if you were dancing on other girls.
Yeah, it's just like, Mr. Sheffield, were you or were you not kissing her? Were you or were you not? Bro, just tell me, bro. Were you? It's so good.
Love Jersey Shore. Oh, is that on Paramount Plus?
It sure is.
Oh, I'm fucking going back and rewatching some. Like,
could we do a hot mess moment special where we talk about Jersey Shore?
I could literally talk. Absolutely.
Okay, great.
I've seen.
Were you kissing her? Were you kissing her?
I'm pretty sure I've seen all of the first 3 seasons.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I watched. So the first 3 seasons.
They went to Italy. I stopped after they got they
Italy was season 4.
Oh, then I've seen up to season 4. I probably don't remember much of season 3 though.
Because I'm gonna break it down for you. As I recall, first season on the Jersey Shore, second season in Miami, because that's where the note happened.
That's right.
Season 3 back at the Jersey Shore. Because they were filming 2 a year, and you can't film at the Jersey Shore in the winter, so that's why they went to Miami. Season 4. Italy. They went to Florence. Season 5, they came back, and
season 5 was awful.
I didn't even watch season 5.
Everyone stopped watching.
I stopped watching after the situation ran his head into a wall, because I was like, okay, now I feel like I'm just watching the mental deterioration of their health go away, and it's not as fun.
And then like the situation was kicked off the show for a little bit, and then it was a mess because of him and SNOOKIE, and there was like drama there, and he said she said and something or other, and then he tried to become a B-list celebrity and showed up on like a cooking show like years later. Then he had to go to jail. Fun fact, Vinny is still fucking hot and has his own dating show still on MTV. Well, which I've seen the first 2 seasons of, which is also really good.
Oh. Yeah. Well, we need to address the elephant in the room.
Please.
Is Vinny the hottest guy from Jersey Shore?
Fuck yes. There's no question.
There's
no question.
Thank you. My friends and I maintain that you can judge whether or not somebody is a good person by if they think Vinny is the hottest. There's not even
a content. Now, Pauly is nice. His hair is a question. Like,
okay, Pauly is, I would say, in the order that I would want to like. So and then remember, rank the women. Oh, I will. Because this is so in descending order from the men. The top
became a Jersey Shore podcast.
It sure did, very quickly. Number 1 for me is Vinny. And then there's a significant gap.
Absolutely. Vinny has smarts. He's built. He has a huge dick, and he fucks. Like, there you go.
That's all you need. 1. Number 2, Pauly's for me is second.
Yes. Same.
And it's mostly personality.
Yeah. He seems like a sweetheart.
He seems funny. He'll put you in your spot and in your place. But he will joke around and fuck around, but he's not gonna like.
He's a banter. Like he is good about bantering. Yeah.
Significant gap. Significant. Like take the gap between Vinny and Pauly, which was already large. Multiply it a few times.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 times. Ronnie.
The situation before Ronnie.
Oh, damn. I would put Ronnie before situation for sure.
And then slight sliver Ronnie.
The same for me, but it goes Ronnie and then a huge gap, massive gap, and then situation. Because it's Michael's situation. If you listen to us, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you haven't found anything better to do with your life than to listen to us situation.
Terrible personality, at least from what we saw in the show. This might not be a reflection of who he actually is. Just for
Have you not watched the family reunion seasons for the past couple of years?
No, I haven't.
Oh, bitch, they're good. It's like you get back into that shit.
I need to watch. I need to watch. I've not watched any. I've not consumed any New Jersey Shore content outside of Vinny and Polly's dating show, which
bitch you need to watch.
I recommend because the women that they cast on those shows are so good that they've basically the second season of Vinny and Polly's dating show isn't actually a dating show. It's just they brought back the most popular women and they all live in Vegas and they fuck off and do whatever they want. Like it is nothing to do with dating. I think the third season might be I don't know what they're doing with the third season. I haven't seen it, but yeah, it's really good.
Wow. Okay. You need to give me your order and then I'll do the women.
Oh, it's same. Vinny, large gap, Polly, 5 times that gap, then Ronnie, 3 times that gap, then the situation.
Oh, wow. Okay. So for me, I think Ronnie and Mike are just terrible people. So I just put them both kind of at the bottom of the
list. But at least Ronnie, I think, is much hotter. The situation. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Women. This one is not, I don't think what I have is controversial.
Okay.
Because I will say, I think you can have some leeway with the women. There's only one correct top for the men. There's multiple correct tops for the women.
Agreed.
So for me, it's JWoww. Number 1, JWoww. Hands down. Because I identify with the
Are we talking about past then or now?
For me, both. I like her the best out of all of them. For all the women, I actually like her the best out of all of the cast. She's my favorite. Okay. Because I love that she stands her ground, stands her friend's ground, isn't afraid to get into the drama portion. But I also identify with the friends who act kind of like the moms of the group.
She is very much a mom.
And I'm kind of like that. So I'm like, okay, I've got this. So I identify with her there. Then it is a tie between Dina and SNOOKIE because they're 2 meatballs.
They're basically the same.
Then Sammy, significant gap, Angelina.
Interesting. Mine's very different.
Ooh, tell me.
First, for sure, is SNOOKIE. Okay. Love SNOOKIE. Always been a SNOOKIE gay. Always here for SNOOKIE. Then a very slight gap, JWoww.
Okay.
A significant gap, then Dina. I like Dina, but I don't really care for Dina in the later seasons.
I think Dina gets kind of grating.
She gets grating, and then she you can tell is trying to force drama so that way she becomes relevant again. Because she's very much in SNOOKIE shadow.
Yeah.
And then 2 times that gap, Angelina. 3 times that gap, Sammy.
I just love Sammy.
I can't stand Sammy. I cannot.
Let me take this step back, right? I don't love Sammy, but I love Jersey Shore would not have been Jersey Shore had it not been for Sammy and
Absolutely.
Ronnie. So I will always have the fondness. And I do think that look-wise, Sammy is the most gorgeous one. So if we're going,
for sure. That was not based off looks. That was
right. We're just saying favorite. If
it
was who you're going to smush in the smush room, number 1 out of all men and women in that house for me would be Sammy. I think Sammy's so gorgeous.
Oh, Sammy's gorgeous. Yes.
Yeah.
That's why Ronnie hopped on that shit.
And then Vinny. And then JWoww and then Polly. That's how it goes for me in terms of who I would smush.
And this has been Hot Mess Moments, the Jersey Shore edition.
And it all started because Dylan said Fran came from New Jersey.
Hey, if that's what Jersey's known for is the actual television show Jersey Shore and not the actual Jersey Shore, which and some would say worse than the actual show of Jersey Shore.
Which is funny because didn't we literally talk about Atlantic City and such on the podcast last week?
We did. But wait, do you remember? Okay, another point about Jersey Shore. Do you remember when Jersey Shore first came out? And it was very popular. Yeah. And people were like, this is making Jersey Shore look gross. It's putting it in a bad light. And I'm like, I think it's making it look good.
This is a tourist boom trap.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, nobody was going to Seaside Heights beforehand. Nobody was.
I want to go there and become a juice head gorilla. Like, hello. In
my head, I hear Snooki going, he's not a juice head. So I don't like, we're out here. Jenny and I are on the prowl for gorillas.
And they used to call the women grenades. Yeah, that girl's a grenade. She's just ready to blow. She's a grenade.
Yeah, this was just a situation out here. We had a grenade of epic proportions.
This show is so problematic.
Remember when Snooki got full on punched in the face by a stranger in the first season? That was the punch heard around the world. Everybody was like, I gotta watch the show to watch this little woman just get punched.
I fucking love Jersey Shore. The funniest thing is Jersey Shore was one of those shows that did not hide the fact that the producers were clearly making things happen on the show. There is an entire episode. I will never forget this because I watched a YouTube video explaining how fake Jersey Shore is. But like sometimes the cast isn't in on when the producer and the producers are fuck you. So like the reactions from the cast are like real because they weren't informed. And so there was a fucking episode where someone throws a drink on Snooki in a club.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You see the producer go up, grab a drink and throw it on her in the background. And then she turns around and the camera fucking cuts. And she thinks it's someone from the cast that did it.
So good.
They're like, if you actually slow down the scene, you can see one of the camera producers go over and grab a drink and throw it on her. And she turns around like she wasn't expecting it at all.
So good.
Like, we need drama. Throws a drink on her.
I always think of them constantly going to the bathroom behind the bar, like finding a bar area, just like popping a squat, pissing.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
Jersey Shore. Well, how are they all doing? I want to know all the background cast that was part of it that like showed up for an episode. I want to know how they're doing. How's that one girl? That was obsessed with Vinny. I need to know.
My God. You stalked my whole life on the pier. You stalked my whole life.
On the pier. I
couldn't even go talk to another girl because you were right there. You were stalking my whole life. And did I or did I not tell you I would call you? Did I or did I not tell you I was going to call you? I did. God, and what didn't you allow me to do? Take the time to call you. Now you're stalking my whole life all over the boardwalk.
All over the boardwalk. I fucking love that show. I also recently found out that Daisy of Love, Flavor of Love, and a few others are on Paramount Plus as well. Ooh. And so definitely doing a Flavor of Love rewatch because that is my favorite show. One of my favorite shows. Okay, we should probably get
Speaking of my favorite show, let's talk about The Nanny, which is why you all tuned in. But I hope you enjoyed a little sneak peek of what a Jersey Shore. I think we should do something like that.
I'm down to do just like a one-off, like
Valentine's Day special.
Literally we've already gushed a lot about Jersey Shore, but like maybe we gush even more and like play.
I think we have to find we each find one episode that we want to rewatch and we rewatch those 2 episodes or something.
Or hear me out. We try to find, because I think you said it's all on Paramount Plus. Mm-hmm. We find timestamps and we find the number 1 moments from Jersey Shore. And we rewatch them, and then we talk about them on the episode.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video that puts them all together.
There's got to be. But it's like we just recollect on all the dumbest shit that happened in fucking Jersey Shore.
I'm here for it.
Would y'all want to leave it in the comments? Leave it in the comments of the YouTube video if you're on YouTube.
Yes.
Hit us up on Twitter if that's something that you're interested in. Leave a comment or 5-star rating and leave us a review saying, hey, I want this.
And if you're going to reach out to us on Twitter, make a tweet and just tag us in it. You don't even have to like slip into our DMs. Let's make the whole world know this is a consideration.
Tag Hot Mess Moments. Do it.
Yeah. Tag SNOOKIE.
I want to interview SNOOKIE.
I want to interview SNOOKIE too. So bad.
I was like, did you know how gay you made me, SNOOKIE? Like,
you'd be like, is that an insult?
it's the highest praise. All right. Let's get into this. We're now going to be covering The Nanny, episode 17, The Will.
She was there. That's how she became the nanny.
So probably one of my favorite parts of this episode is when Maxwell puts in his will that he's going to become a juice head gorilla.
Yes. That's how it connects to what we were talking about earlier.
I actually just wanted to say juice head gorilla again.
So I do appreciate that in this episode, you do have a really fun moment, though, where Maxwell asks if anybody wants to go GTL with him. And so he's like, gym, tan, laundry, people. And then they're getting ready and you hear him upstairs going, it's t-shirt time. Coincidentally, I wrote that song.
I would believe it too, honestly.
That's like the one
trashy song. Just kidding.
You're like, that's the one song I believe you wrote, Beth. Very fun. But yeah, so what are your thoughts about The Will overall? What's your rating?
I thought this episode was all right.
Mm-hmm.
I actually did not laugh a lot during it.
Yeah.
The times that I did laugh, I was more of like a chuckle.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't say it's a bad episode. I actually think it's a really good episode. I personally thought I could think of better jokes. Like if you put me in that writer room, I feel like I could have come up with a bit better material. Yeah. I just felt like everything that was said as a joke stemmed from the fact that Fran thought Maxwell was dying. But we knew he wasn't dying. And so like the joke is, oh my God, the audience knows and she doesn't. But that got very old within like the first minute or two of that joke happening. And it's almost like 3/4 of the episode. So for me, it wasn't that great. There was some fun moments where Maxwell and Fran have that moment with the proposal and she's just like, oh my God, like,
you better put this ring on. Yeah
she's like freaking out and I loved that. I also really liked the moment with the kids. I thought the kids had some of the funnier parts of this episode, especially the whole Brighton and the fucking motorcycle.
Oh my God, that was funny. I think this episode, the king and queen of humor are Cece and Niles in this episode.
For sure.
And has some of my favorite, more iconic moments of Niles and Cece, where you have now I lost it. What the moment is? What's the big? They're in the kitchen. Oh, when she's like, pour me some tea, Niles.
That's
and
great.
like that whole thing. Like you'll see that in montages. People put it all the time online where he's like, would you like some tea, Miss Babbitt? You know damn well I want some tea, you imbecile. Cece. Well, Maxwell, he was like, it's just like that is absolutely in all the montages.
I think another issue that I had is they didn't let jokes linger. So they were always moving on to the next thing. For example, at the dinner, we get it. Fran doesn't want Maxwell to eat something that could kill him. And that bit was not funny until the hollandaise sauce, where she's like rubbing it in her hands. Everything before that was so forgettable for me. I was just like, okay, we get it. Also, I didn't really care for most of the Val stuff. I love Val, but like nothing there really stood out to me. I'm going to probably give this like a 4 or a 5.
I think that's fair.
And to be honest, this is probably my least favorite episode of season 2. I don't know if it was just like my mindset watching the episode, but nothing really like jumped out at me. And honestly, I kind of forgot the episode after we watched it. I had to like remind myself based off the name of the episode. I was like, oh shit, that's right. It was about a will. I have to remember.
I just, for context, we stopped watching that episode 35 minutes ago.
Yeah, I honestly kind of forgot like what we had even watched.
We were more excited about talking about the Jersey Shore today than we were.
I really was. No, I mean, I'm still excited to talk about the Nanny.
No, but I mean, but that's what I'm saying is like putting the. I agree. The reason why we put 2 episodes last week was because I felt like we're like in a 3, maybe 4 episode slump. But then it hits 3 or 4 amazing episodes. And then there's like this weird spin-off series.
I cannot wait.
It's so bad. Like, I'm like, I don't even want to watch it. Like,
I am so
we are going to
review it.
It's going to be so bad. I want you to know right now, it's so bad.
And it never became an actual spinoff, right?
Thank God, no.
I can't wait. Oh,
know what I was. You better get into this. You know what isn't on HBO Max, but is 100% a real thing from The Nanny. What? There is an animated episode for Christmas in season 3, and we need to find it and watch it. It's called Oi to the World.
And it's animated in the same style as the intro?
Yes. So it's animated like that, and it's a Christmas special.
Is it voiced by the same cast?
Yes.
Ooh.
It's all of the characters animated, and it's like teaching Brighton the real meaning of Christmas kind of thing. Yeah.
I love the idea of, we saw that in season 1, but Fran, a Jewish woman, teaching the family what Christmas is all about.
Just saying.
Just so silly. If I had to like solidify a number, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 10. I thought it was a below average episode, but
yeah,
I need to talk about the fact because Cece shit on everyone this episode in that black dress with her hair slicked back and those earrings. Yeah. Oh, I was getting it. When she's in that kitchen,
was getting
when she is in that kitchen saying, "I want some tea," and then she looks at Niles and said, "Pour me some tea, motherfucker." And she like,
and then she brought out her whip and she cracked it, and she said,
she lit up a cigarette and put it on the back of his hand, just like rubbed it in. She's like, "Yeah, bitch, give me that fucking tea."
And then she took these, electric nipple clamps and put them on his titties, and she said, "Squeal, little piggy."
And then Maxwell walked into the room and he's just like, "My turn."
He said, "I brought the dildo."
And then it became that was actually that was on Pornhub shit. That was the Nanny porn parody. I love that there would be a porn parody and it's just Cece, Niles, and Maxwell. No Fran to be seen anywhere. It's just Cece, Niles.
Who do you think? Okay, obviously, and this is just like an obvious, we're only going to be talking about the adults here, duh. Yeah, but like, who would you think would make the funniest porn spinoff of The Nanny?
What do you mean? What does that even mean?
Like if there was somebody who did like a spoof, but it's like a really campy porn kind of thing.
So I'm gonna write this down. Okay, I'm gonna write it out. So I am the director for a soft core porn parody of The Nanny.
Yes.
How it starts is the children are away at school.
Yep.
And so the house just has the adults in the house. It starts off with Fran and Val in Fran's bedroom. And so Fran's like telling Val, she's like, "Oh my God, I think I might have feelings for Maxwell. I don't know what to do. I've never had these feelings for someone outside of Danny." And Val's like comforting her, but comforting her a little too well.
Oh, and like a little over the sweater comfort.
Yeah. There's a lesbian sex scene between Fran and Val in the bedroom. Meanwhile, Maxwell Sheffield and Cece are inside of the office.
Okay.
And Cece is like trying to like clearly fuck Maxwell. And Maxwell wants nothing to do with it. He is just not invested. He doesn't want anything to do with it. Eventually, he pity fucks her. And it's like a sad pity fuck porn. He bends her over the desk, and you can tell he's not into it at all. And she is 100% into it. And so she gets off like
I just want to point out one thing. You said softcore porn. And then Pauline's just like, and then he pours her, brings her over the desk, and starts.
They all have clothes on during all of this. 100% clothed the entire time.
This is dry humping. Just
like grabbing her by like the back of her hair and just like dry humping her from behind. Okay, so then
Niles comes in with the vacuum cleaner.
Yes. So he's in the garden. He looks in and sees Maxwell pity fucking Cece. And so he looks at Niles through the window and is like, you want some? Come. Because he doesn't realize it. Niles steps in and takes Maxwell's spot while Maxwell leaves the room and is into it. Niles is into it. And so Cece's just having fun. She goes around, sees it's Niles, and she's into it too. And I've thought about this. And then the last scene in the porn, Fran leaves the bedroom with Val. Maxwell leaves the situation with Cece. And Maxwell's butt
not even like the situation.
Maxwell's butt naked in the living room. And Fran is very scantily clad in just like a blanket. And as she comes down, she bumps into Maxwell. And she's like, oh my God, Mr. Sheffield. Oh my God, little Sheffield. And she's like looking at his dick. And he's just like, oh my God, Fran, what are you doing down here like this? And as she's like, oh, she goes to cover her eyes, the blanket falls and she's butt naked. And then she's like, oh my God, Mr. Sheffield, it's growing. And it's like really cringy. And then they announce each other's love for each other and they hardcore fuck in the living room. And that's the porn parody of The Nanny.
I just want to point out that what my question is who do you think would be the best porn characters? And then you proceeded
to
have a 10-minute detailed discussion, which was started off as softcore and then switched to hardcore.
I may or may not know what softcore means.
That's the thing. Do you think kids these days even know that there was a thing called softcore porn?
Maybe.
Like,
I think they probably.
I
feel like the generation before us, that's obviously of age, has consumed softcore porn and not realized it. Things through Tumblr, things through like other mechanisms that allowed.
I thought you said the generation before us, so I thought you meant like Gen X. I was like, yeah. Now I realize that you mean Gen Zs that are older. Yeah, older Gen Zs.
Us. Yeah. So like people that are now probably in their
early 20s.
Like 25, 24 or something like that, 23. They probably got a lot of their porn through Tumblr. Ooh, as someone who comes from a sex health background, I would love to see the numbers on this. So like websites that people get their porn from, because I know a lot of people used to get it through Tumblr and then Tumblr shut that down because of ad revenue. They couldn't get enough ad revenue because all the ad people were pulling out because people were pulling it out and to their website. And so then they got rid of all the porn. I bet you a large number of softcore, or the largest percentage of softcore porn, came from Tumblr, because
I'm sure.
And then they got rid of it all. And now Pornhub and stuff, I don't know if you can even get softcore.
But that's exactly my point. Like you used to have to remember it was just Skinamax and like that kind of thing.
Oh my God.
Like you would literally order special channels to not even get full porn. It would be like softcore porn, which meant it would be like the most they would do is like go to third base with clothes on. You know what I mean?
Like, oh, you're finger banging me underneath my skirt and no one's going to see anything.
Yeah, exactly. It was all like left to the imagination.
Through my shirt, but I'm not taking my shirt off. I'm not a whore. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Things like that. And that happened actually in this episode of The Will. That's exactly.
They joined an AIM chat room. They jumped ahead 10 years and joined an AIM chat room. And
I would love to see the Nanny, but in the internet age, but this cast at these same ages, like an episode of like Brighton and them on the internet. Like, speaking of which, Jesus Christ, they make so many jokes about Brighton masturbating, like in this season 2. Yeah. Like, holy shit. This is like the 3rd time they refer to him like masturbating to something. And I'm just like, I don't know why. Yeah. Like the thought of
joking about a child who's like masturbating.
Obviously they're doing it, so I get it. It's a joke, but it like still grosses me out. Like the
because it's pointing attention. Like, here's the thing: if you are a parent and like that is, first of all, that is your child's private business. First of all, and it's completely natural. And most people, regardless of whatever their genitals are playing with them by the time they can discover them when they're a baby. So it's not like it's like
we're all born to be little sluts.
Yeah, we're self-pleasuring organisms. And
you keep going. Actually,
oh no, what I was just going to say is like, so we don't need jokes about other people's kids doing that. Like, if you want to joke with your child about that or whatever, that's one thing, but you don't ever have to advertise. It's the same way that like, I don't appreciate people joking about their sex life to other people. I don't like that. I don't know why, because to me, like if it's like an obvious joke, then fine. But if they're like, oh, were you too late for dinner because you guys were fucking, I was like, no one needs to know that kind of stuff. Like, I'm like, who cares? If they are, then great. But I don't want to have images of people having sex in my head.
Yeah. I mean, I'm okay with it.
Hashtag ace.
I was like, that doesn't bother me. Like, I think.
Which that is not to say, if people want to joke about their own sex life, fine. But I don't like it when people put jokes on other people's sex life. I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I think I missaid that beforehand.
No, I think you're fine. Like it doesn't really like bother someone like me. I think it's just more so I find it weird in a 90s sitcom, like a show like on HBO Max or something. I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like, yeah. But a show like this where
on network television that was on CBS.
Yeah, it's like it feels weird. But I thought this episode was very mediocre, if not less than mediocre. And I'm wondering where the rest of the season's gonna go.
Okay.
Not in a bad way, but I'm just curious, like, because with season 1 we were getting towards like an end, and I'm not saying like I'm curious in like a bad way. I'm curious and like I'm genuinely wondering how they're gonna.
Well, that's actually what I wanted to ask you. Do you think season 2 will have like some kind of natural conclusion and end? Yes. Or do you think it's going to set up for season 3? What are you thinking it could lead to? Like, where are your thoughts on this? Because that's exactly what I was sitting here watching.
I definitely something big is going to happen at the end of season 2. I think I just don't know what it is. And the only reason I can guess that is because you're so excited for the end of season 2. And I can only assume it's because something big is going to happen at the end.
I'm mostly excited for episode 21, which is, I think, probably if you were to poll most of the fandom, it would absolutely appear in everybody's top 10. And I would say overall, it's probably most people's top 3.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That kind of thing. Like, this episode is iconic. Like, if you watch season 2, you know this is the episode that you're talking about. So that is only 3-4 episodes like that away. So very excited. And that's also the one that we might be having Kirsten McInnes joining us for, because she wanted in if she could join us.
I'm excited. That's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me get my MVP and LVP.
Yes. And I also need your outfit of the episode.
Oh, it was Cece in the tight black dress.
That's what I wondered.
Hair, with the earring. Loved it.
And I have to say, too, that I want to do a special shout out to the kind of mini dress that Fran was wearing in this episode, because that is very much the kind of look that she will be known for especially season 3. And
you have said that about like 10 outfits.
So you normally, when you think of Fran, you're going to think about like kind of like a top, like a jacket or something like that, and a mini skirt kind of combo. Oh, okay. When you think of the mini dresses that she wears, it's normally normally the black back with some bright
something
sequin, almost kind of stuff in the front. And that is a very iconic look for her to be replicated throughout the season.
Okay. And it's like, it seems like an easy dress, like something that a designer could be like, sleeky black dress, and let's put something on the front of it. And she always wears
black tights. So it's like, there you go. Very cool.
My MVP is probably going to go to Maxwell for thinking ahead and making a will. Something I have not done. But probably should get on.
Actually, let's just chat about that too. Do you think that him leaving the children to her, does that suggest something about their relationship?
No, I think it is. He did not leave her the custody of the kids. He said, you can continue to be the nanny for the kids. So I think that's the difference. He didn't say, oh yeah, you're their parent now. I think it's like whoever the parent is. I think it even insinuated that they would have to move back to London. So I'm assuming like his sister would take the kids or someone in the family, and Fran would have to move to London to be the nanny for those kids. And I think that's like kind of what she's doing. Did you just mute and fart?
No, I cleared my throat.
Oh, you muted, and the look on your face, you went like you can't see an audio only, and I was like, this bitch just muted and muted.
No, I've just been coughing because I've been laughing so much for this podcast that I've been trying to like clear my throat, not while I'm in the mic. But I could see, I kind of want to go back and just watch that one moment because I'm sure my face was like, ugh.
No, you didn't look like in your face. It was just your body. You went. And I was like, oh, she's tooting. Okay, girl. That's good.
That's ridiculous.
Sorry, that was gross.
No, it's fine. It's, again, another bodily function everybody does.
This
14 times a day on average.
I guarantee this is the most unhinged episode that we've had so far for season 2.
You know what? I don't mind, though. Here's my thing.
Yeah.
I feel like with the nanny, like...
we're literally covering a 20-minute episode of the show.
Like, if we wanted to, we could double up every week, but I don't think that's as much fun. Like, I think like having some weeks where we double up and are really focused. But I think that people listen to the Lost podcast because the Lost podcast is really the people who watch Lost were really into the lore. They want to hear what somebody's first time listening to is. This is basically a gay sitcom that's stupid. You know what I mean? Like... It's just like, let's be silly and have fun moments and talk about what we liked about the show. That's
totally. And that's what I love about this. And sorry, I was talking about MVP.
Sorry. MVP was Maxwell.
Sure. LVP, I'm probably going to have to give okay, I'm gonna give it to Gracie. Hear me out.
Ooh.
I'm gonna give it to Gracie because she doesn't fucking stand up for herself and tell her whore of a best friend to put it in her pants and hang out with her and play tea time. No.
Did you have friends when you were growing up who were obsessed with your siblings?
Literally don't know the concept of friends when I was growing up. But thank you for that. No, I did have friends, and they never hung out at my house because I was so poor. And so I would always go over to their place, and they never, I don't think, ever met my siblings. Besides my,
were you ever obsessed with any of your friends' siblings, though?
Never, ever. I think I only actually hung out with. No, that's not true. My friend Ronnie, growing up, she did have a little sister, but there was no like brothers with anyone. I was through and through, honey, only hanging out with girls.
I'm trying to think if there was anybody's sibling that I was ever obsessed with, and I don't think so. I think there were just older kids I was obsessed with, but they weren't like my friend's siblings.
I used to get free hand jobs behind the bleachers, but other than that, like, and they weren't friendly. They were pretty rough. I was waiting to try and crack you.
It's just like the idea of being like, do you want a free hand job? It's not going to be friendly. It's going to be pretty rough. You want to make that decision. I haven't moisturized all winter.
I use hollandaise sauce. To tie it back into the episode.
Oh my God. So
Okay,
Gracie is your LVP?
Yeah. No, I was joking about Gracie. My LVP probably would have to go to Cece. Because she was so obsessed with the will and truly, actually, no, I can't give it to Cece because Maxwell didn't really have any health problems. So she was just getting the money, getting that bag like she needed to. Yeah. So maybe I will give LVP to Gracie because I can't think of a downside for any of the other cast because like
my LVP, just in terms of like, was the person necessary? Which I guess they were, plot device wise, was going to be Val. But you did need someone who, like, Fran could be explaining what she's worried about too. That's outside of it. So I do see like why she's necessary.
Friend. You know, comforting Fran.
I think that this is probably my least favorite Val appearance in the entire series, though, because it's like normally
mine for sure.
Yeah, normally she's like hysterical.
She's like funny and she's like just trying to be like a shoulder for Fran to like talk to and cry on.
Well, the point of her character is to be the person who shows Fran to be smart. So like Fran is dumb to everybody, but is smart in comparison to Val, right?
Yeah.
Like Fran is smart in comparison to her mother, and Fran is smart in comparison to her grandmother. Those are the things, and she's smart in comparison to Mr. Sheffield, even though that's like not as clear for the family sometimes.
Yeah. I think another issue that I have, there was some like funny moments with Val. Like I like when they're all like, tea, and they just like walk over and go get the teapot, and like little things like that are funny, but like a majority of the heavy lifting comes from Fran when it comes to comedy chops. And I could see that. I think I'm still gonna stick with Gracie though for my LVP, just because I think that makes sense. And I just feel so bad. Also, I'm gonna say something really dumb. I was weirded out in this episode at Gracie's adult-sized hands.
Oh, I've never noticed.
I just noticed it when she's sitting on the couch, leaned back like this. And I had this thought pop in my head. I'm like, those look like adult hands.
I just did it, and it's creepy because my hands are so small. Like it literally, okay, so like you are like a normal person proportional. Yeah. Like you're doing that. You need to.
My hand is literally.
Okay, but now compare what you just did with your. So hold your hand to your face to show, right? It's like so small. I have super tiny hands. They look so small like this too. I don't know. Doesn't it look so small?
To make you feel good, I have baby ears. I have like tiny little baby ears.
Aw, I don't think they look that small.
Like my ears are so tiny that
this looks like I have two fake hands.
They aren't they? Just kidding. I have such baby ears that I have a hard time keeping masks on my face during COVID.
So my brother was born, like both of his ears, like the top portion never fully formed. So they're kind of like folded over a little bit. So he can't wear anything that like his glasses like rest barely on him. So he has to have something that hooks in the back for a mask, or like we could never have like those headphones that like clipped on your earlobes or not your earlobes or whatever. He couldn't wear those. So I was mindful of that. And for Christmas, my gift for him was a beanie hat that has Bluetooth speakers and where the ears are. So he could wear his hat, but also listen to music.
That's cute. That's super cute.
Yeah.
I'll look at you being a nice sibling. Love that.
It was really cheap.
Like me. What's the name of the next episode?
Okay, so the name of are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
The name of the next episode is The Nanny Behind the Man.
Hear me out.
Okay.
I know this is not what the episode's about. I think this is the first prequel episode we're going to get of The Nanny.
Okay.
Where it takes place 100% before Nanny ever worked for Mr. Sheffield. And so it is showcasing what her life was like before working for Maxwell. And so we're going to get a lot of like her in the city, her with Val, her in this tumultuous relationship with Danny. And then at the end of the beginning and the end of the episode, we go back to what like her life now and her appreciative of how much she's grown since back before she worked for Maxwell.
Yeah, it's nothing like that at all.
I know.
Okay, so I will just say that I think you were really my prediction is that you were going to love this episode.
Okay.
And I'm not going to tell you why and like why that's the case, because I think it will ruin a surprise in the episode.
Lady Gaga's in it. Before like a very young 6-year-old.
I thought I was doing a good job of hiding the fact, and you still got it.
She just shows up fully Stephanie Germanotta.
13 years old.
Gives a performance of paparazzi.
Justice, gonna be okay.
You're like, damn, this little girl's got some weird sounding music.
This is 10 years. Well, this would have been 11 years before that's no, much more than that. 15 years before that song came out.
Much more, yeah. Oof.
Whenever I hear Just Dance, and there's that part where she goes, gonna be okay, right? And she goes, so I was driving in a very scary snowstorm and the song was on and I was leaned forward, white knuckles. And and in my head I hear, it's gonna be okay. And I'm like, just dance. And so every time she said, gonna be okay, I was like, it will be okay. Like that is like a clear memory I have of driving when I was in college.
I love that Gaga could guide you in your time of need.
It was scary as fuck that day.
I
was on a mountain in Vermont, and if I had slid, I could have fallen off a mountain.
Oh, that's terrifying. Fuck that. But I will say I would rather drive in. No, that's not true. I'd rather drive in I don't know. I would prefer to drive in a snowstorm than a intense rain. Because with an intense rain, I am more scared about
rainstorm.
I'm just scared of I can handle a rainstorm. I just don't know how other people react in a rainstorm, and that's what scares me.
Here's what you can do in a rainstorm: pull over.
That's
in a snowstorm.
I actually did have to do that once.
In a snowstorm, if you pull over, you can get fucked up. So that's my point. I think the worst condition to drive in is sleeting, though. That is, it's scary when you're like, wow, there's no traction anywhere, and I can't see out of my windshield because it's iced over. That is scary.
Maybe I should not.
I literally drove to work one day. I used to be a mile commute to my office. And I come from the place of ice, sleet, and snow. And I literally drove to work one day. I managed to warm up my car where I could get my window down, but there was still the entire thing of ice where my window had been. So I had to use my feet to kick that portion out, even though my window was down. And then I just drove with my head out the entire time to work. Because I couldn't see out my window.
Fun though, kicking in.
It was a lot of fun. Slipping and sliding while my head's out the window while I'm driving. That was a real blast.
You know who could have done it? JWoww. And on that note, thank you all so much for tuning into this hot, messy episode of Hot Mess Moments.
Yeah, thank you for listening to our Jersey Shore coverage here on the Nanny podcast.
Yes. If you would like us to do a Jersey Shore version of this podcast, please let us know, at least a one-off special.
No, like a one-off. Until we finish one of these shows, we've got to just... Yeah. We can't overwhelm ourselves with things.
Exactly. But thank you all so much for tuning in. If you want to, you can follow me on Twitch and Twitter and on YouTube at 8BitDylan. That's 8BitDylan. And Beth, where can they find you?
You can find me at AugustaWind11 on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, the whole nine. And you'll see me doing other kinds of podcasting as well. I'm going to be doing the RHAP coverage for Drag Race, obviously doing this podcast with Dylan, a little bit of Goose Goose Duck / Among Us action on the channel with other podcasters. So come check it out. Good times.
Yeah. And make sure to follow us at Hot Mess Moments. Leave us a 5-star review. It helps us out tremendously on Apple Podcasts. And leave us a written review. And make sure
Smash that like button, y'all.
Smash that like button on our Hot
Smash
Mess
that like
Moments
button.
YouTube channel. And make sure to
click that bell.
Flick my bean and fluck my bell.
Yeah, click that bell, bitch. Because that way you'll be alerted every time like we
I
upload
post
shit.
something or something, or, you know.
If we happen to go live someday, you'll get a notification.
And we most likely will in the future go live.
Oh God, yeah.
When we play the Lost video game after season 3.
It's gonna be sweet, bro.
That's gonna be so sweet. But thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll be back later this week with a Lost coverage. And until then, stay awesome, stay beautiful, you lovely people. Bye.
Bye, bro.